Well, it appears there was a bit of a cat fight here on our show. Just trying to recover from that, but I see another guest is about to walk into the studio, and I think he may have some magical powers here on this special Halloween show. I'm your host, Cleetus, the Undead Hick, firing off some specialty interviews here in Moscow, Idaho, where Halloween is dessert and dinner and all the meals that you could possibly think of. Welcome. Come and have a seat here. Wow. And what might your name be there, special guest?
Well, everyone knows me. My name is Tim, the Enchanter.
Ooh, Tim. Very enchanted.
Well,
Indeed.
it's quite gratifying that you feel that way. As a matter of fact, I thought I'd just pop in real quick, straighten your bat.
Oh, Tim, that's very nice of you. Do you have a special relationships with bats, Tim, that you'd care to talk about here today?
I never associate with them, thank you.
Oh, okay then. Not exactly a Halloween thumbs up, but certainly that's your preference, sure.
Well, it's awfully nice if you just say that for those of us who happen to have thumbs.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's true. Well, Tim.
Right now we're running at a...
Okay then, Tim. Well, Tim, who else do you have with you here today? Is that a little Frankenstein doll that you brought over, or?
Hardly that. This happens to be one of the most powerful objects on the face of the earth. It is, in fact, the source of all my power. I call it the Frankenwand.
The Frankenwand.
Have a look.
Oh, let's look, indeed.
Feast your eyes.
I believe we may have a little bit of Frankenstein's thunderstorm on here if you're interested. Oh, whoops.
Never touch the stuff. That's enough. You can't have too much.
That's a pretty special wand there.
Damn right!
You gave Cleetus a fright there.
You bet your butt bone.
Yeah, well, Tim, the Enchanter, that's what you called yourself, right?
Tim the Enchanter. One word.
Tim the Enchanter. I think Cleetus can handle that mouthful, sure. Well, so what kind of enchanting have you done lately?
Oh, you name it, I've done it, dear.
Oh, well, that's pretty impressive. Like, for example, are we talking beasts of the forest, whole cities, villages? What kind of enchanting? What's your range? Give us some details.
Lately I've been working on Wall Street. Perhaps you've seen the fruits of my efforts.
Oh, well, yes, there have been some serious economic stresses lately out there. And you're here to take credit for all that, Tim? That's pretty impressive. Cleetus takes his hat off to you there.
Yes, you bet your ass hair. Yes, I've been doing it. It's my fault. Watch those retirement funds, you boneheads.
Oh, Cleetus is about to make some special investments then with you, if I can get some of that inside trading information here this Halloween. And what other kind of enchantment have you been up to, Tim? Because that's pretty impressive.
Well, I'm a sort of jack of all trades, actually. You name it, I've done it.
Oh, well, that's... How about, can you maybe do a demonstration of your enchanting abilities here on my pet rats? Do you think they'll find themselves, quite subdued by you, or what?
Well, let me tell you, this gig doesn't pay sufficiently for me to make too much of a demonstration of my power, but I will take pity upon your poor self.
Okay, then.
As a matter of fact, it strikes me just now that you look somewhat familiar.
Really?
Yes.
Did we meet last year sometime?
I don't think we met. But you know, I took a little bit of time off. You know, I have my own television show on SPUD-TV.
Oh, hey. Well, then maybe we have met before.
As a matter of fact, yes, it's starting to come back to me. I had a guest host come and take over my show, and well, they did a really appalling job. I mean, they practically ran my ratings into the ground. I had to work my ass off to get that show back on proper footing.
Oh, Tim, that is quite the disaster. Who is this? Who is this scoundrel that accosted your show?
I believe they said its name was Cleetus, the undead hick.
You're accusing me? You're accusing me of ruining your show? Here on this show today, you're going to accuse me of ruining your show, Tim the Enchanter. While I respect your work, how could you come here and accuse me of ruining your show? That is just, I cannot even believe that. That is shocking. I'm shocked. I'm distressed. I don't know what to say. You're saying, what did I do to ruin your show?
Well, you have a rather attractive bald spot, you know, when you take your hat off. Oh, I was wrong. Well, I'll tell you. The guests you booked. I mean, talk about inept. Talk about dull. Talk about somebody who has nothing really to do with being on television and trying to horrify people.
Okay, well, I admit the guests were at times not as horrifying as probably the standard that you were up to, but, you know, we tried to do our best. Apparently we did have some horrific laughter that occurred, if you recall.
Yeah, well, I think that it was probably on the order of pity laughter.
Sure, well, some pity laughter is often appreciated during the Halloween season. I think so.
Well, all right. I suppose I'll let it slide this time. But don't you dare come sniffing around my show again unless you're properly invited by me.
Okay, well, let me see, Tim, would you actually, I'd like to make it up to you if you would like to host a brief segment of our show right now.
It's already done. All right, then.
Okay,
Let's show a cartoon, damn it. Or, well, I don't know, let's show a film clip. Well, do you have any film clips? What the hell is going on around here? You're ruining my show again. You don't have any film clips. Don't you watch movies? Horror movies, you know, those are the best kind.
Sure.
A little Al Pacino chewing up the scenery, burning up the set, playing Satan himself. I don't know. How about Christopher Walken? He's a fine fellow, you know.
Oh, yes.
I've had a hand with his career.
Yeah, well, that Christopher Walken, he is quite the horror man himself, and I certainly think that his films have been quite excellent over the years. They've given us all quite a shock.
Well, don't try to butter me up. In fact, I mean, don't you have any clips from the Deer Hunter or something we can show? I can wander off and take a piss.
We can arrange for that, sure. Let's cut to commercial and we'll come back with some clips.
What, don't you have any sponsors? Where's the commercials?
Actually, we do have one sponsor. I have to just set the sponsorship thing up here. Just a minute, and I will try to arrange for that. Let's see. Can't really see my... hold on. Cleetus is here. Cleetus is here. Cleetus, the undead hip. Cleetus, the undead hip. Now like quicksand, you're saying. Let's not go into Cleetus's problems. Okay then. This is my one sponsor. If you'll allow me. And hold on just a second for our sponsor here. I'll just be right back with you.
She's got an abandoned ship. Why, it's just like the maiden voyage of the Titanic. I'm left as captain at his helm.
Our proud Cleetus the Undead sponsor is the Outhouse Companies, and we'd like to give them their due right now.
I say, I do like that. I think you've redeemed yourself quite nicely.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, here with when I'm needing to identify with my fellow hick Americans, it's the outhouse that centers us all together in the world of horrific occurrences, and that's why I've chosen the outhouse as our official sponsor here today, because anyone can relate to the need to go use the outhouse when you're living in the woods, and it's horrific, and it's quite terrifying when you're going out at night and you gotta relieve yourself and you can't find the toilet paper. That's horrific enough, and when you're not sure, that is a legitimate cry for help if I've ever heard one, and I'm glad you can appreciate the sponsorship here of this show here today. There, Mr. Tim.
Well, don't get a swelled head.
Well, you are just a man of high standards, and I understand that sometimes my hillbilly ways are not as classy as what you hope to accomplish, and I'm getting a little emotional about that. And,
oh, now don't cry. Don't cry now. I can't stand that. Don't be crying.
Okay then. Well, I hope that you will allow yourself to come back another time and know that Cleetus loves you. Cleetus loves you, Tim, and I have no intention ever to ruin your show. They made me come back here. I had to pick my old hillbilly self up from the dirt and eat a mound of dirt to get here.
Enough! I still got the stuff. Well, I think that's it. I've had enough of you.
Alright, well, thanks for stopping by, and you can go on your merry way, and we won't talk bad about you here on the Cleetus the Undead Hick show. And you're welcome to come back and re-host my show at any time that you feel like it.
Oh, well, thanks for nothing. A cheery bye.
Cheery bye-bye.